Hello everyone, my name is Dee and thank you for tuning into the Quickspeed channel, and thank you to everyone who wrote on the channel comments to wish me happy travels while I finally was able to visit my parents after a 19-month hiatus due to COVID-19. So I am back, my battery is totally recharged, and it was just a real blessing to be able to spend so much quality time with them after not seeing them for such a long period of time. So thank you for all of those comments. It really did warm my heart, and I really do appreciate it. Anyway, the way we left it, I was in receipt of stainless tumblers from DH Gate. And I was really hoping to do a video before I took off and show you how wonderful they were. But as I went through them, here's one of them in my hand. They are absolutely beautiful tumblers. In fact, they are the nicest tumblers that we have ever received at Quickspeed. We were going through them and just saying, wow, they are absolutely flawless. The lids glide better than any lid we have ever imported. But sadly, it did not take us long to realize, maybe after the second one that we opened, they're just too perfect. They don't have a sublimation coating on it. Normally, you can see a sublimation coating, and every once in a while you can see a bubble or you can see a piece of lint. But every single one of these tumblers is just brushed stainless steel. They're beautiful. I wish I was a laser engraver because I would know exactly where to get such beautiful brushed stainless tumblers, but we are not. We are sublimators, and we need tumblers with sublimation coating. And whoever packed my box, unfortunately, did not give me the sublimation coated tumblers. Bad news for me, because I think I told you previously that I really wanted to do a project on stainless sublimation. I have this idea in my head, and I just have to get it out on tumblers. But now I have to put that project on hold. So bad news for me, but quite frankly, good news for the channel, because this is an educational channel on sublimation, not just sublimation, but on business. And business is not perfect, and this can totally happen, and I am going to be able to teach you exactly what I did step by step to get a very, very generous refund to my credit card, not a store credit, but I was able to get a generous refund to my credit card, and I didn't have to send a single tumbler back to DH Gate. All right, so I have the product. I have a generous refund. I'm going to show you exactly how I did that. I'm going to show you the entire thought process behind everything that I did. I do bring something to the table, being an importer, being a seller. I just understand the angles that I kind of need to take to support the best case possible. We talked about how hard it is to get a refund on DH Gate because, their profit margin is so low. They do not build in return rates into their prices, right? A $4.50 tumbler does not have margin for returns. So that is why they are so tight with their returns. But I was able to get something very satisfactory. I'm going to share everything step by step. And at the end of the day, you might be very surprised to learn that even though this supplier made a mistake, this is a supplier that I want to do business with again. If you are interested in learning exactly what I did to get a good refund on my credit card and keep the product and keep the relationship from a supplier on DH Gate, then you are in the right place, and I will see you after the press. So the very first thing I do want to touch on is the inspection process when you receive your tumblers, or even if they're the wrong tumblers or the right tumblers, or maybe you got something completely different than tumblers. the inspection process is very important. So the day that you get them or the next day that you get them, you want to inspect every single tumbler. You don't just want to like look at a few and say, oh, they're great, or test them later. You do want to open every single tumbler and do an inspection. Here is the box that they came in. All right, so like it's a double box. They're stacked 25, 25. And the inspection process is as simple as just opening every single box. Yes, you have to do it. You have to go through every single box, take out the bubble wrap, and start looking, right? I just look at, you're looking for marks, defects. It didn't take me long to realize there's no sublimation coating because they're just so perfect. Look at the bottom of the tumbler, make sure there's no dents and dings. I usually just kind of close it back up as I'm going toward the top. Look inside the cup, make sure nothing weird. Look at the entire lid, open and close the lid. Check out the lid for any cracks or anything like that. And then for the final step, just run your finger across the rim of the tumbler and make sure it went through the like grinding process, because when these are fabricated, they are really sharp at the top and then they get ground down. And I have come across tumblers, none of these, but previous imports of sublimation tumblers where you can get a really, really sharp edge. And that is certainly something that you would maybe use as a practice tumbler. You certainly wouldn't want to sublimate it and send it to a customer who would then cut their mouth. So definitely check that. All right. If everything is good, put it all back, put it back in the box, and, you know, have yourself a good pile and a defect pile, or something that is just wrong, right? So that the end of the entire inspection process, you know exactly how many tumblers are perfect, and you also know how many tumblers have an issue, right? So then, and then the tumblers that have an issue, you know, if there are a lot of them, then you might want to, you know, try to get some type of compensation for that. If there were just like a handful, maybe 5 out of 50, or, you know, 2 out of 50, depending on how severe it is, that might just be a defect rate that you live with. All right. But there's nothing wrong with trying, especially if you have serious issues. All right. 1 or 2, I don't really think you're going to get any compensation from DH Gate, but you never know. You could always try. Try in the nicest way possible. Watch this whole video, and you can just kind of see my experience with dealing with imports and vendors. I have been importing since I was 19 years old. You have experience when it comes to framing the dispute so that it can hopefully be in your favor. All right, that aside, so that's what we did. We went through all the tumblers, and I can confidently say to the vendor, every single one of my tumblers is just a regular stainless steel brushed tumbler. No sublimation coating. But it is important to check every single one, because like, what if the bottom 25 had been sublimation tumblers and then the top 25 were just the regular brushed stainless? You definitely want to know that going in. You want to know, if they ask you, did you open every one? Is it every single one? You want to know, yes, every single one of them is brushed stainless. All right, I checked every single one personally, looked at everything, and they are the wrong product. All right, guys, so we got through the inspection process. It's probably like late in the evening, and the very first thing I did, and I always do in business when something just doesn't go right, is I sleep on it. All right, there is absolutely no need to reach out to the supplier the same evening, right? And it's late for you. They're going to wake up to like a message that maybe you wish you didn't send. I don't know. I just know in my case, like that night, I was just like very disappointed. Obviously, I wanted the right tumblers. I did not get the right tumblers. But in business, especially, the saying, cooler heads prevail, is the philosophy and the approach we always like to take. All right. I am a big proponent of cooler heads prevail. It is a philosophy that really does help salvage relationships in business. All right. Not only that, it feels better. It feels better to be nice about something than it does to be prickly about something, because, you know, what you put out, you get back. You put out like prickliness and you probably get some prickliness back. So I slept on it, just had a nice dinner. In the meantime, I'm thinking, you know, what do I want to happen? Obviously, you know, I can't shut it off completely, but I am not going to reach out to the seller that evening, fresh on the heels of this appointment. All right, sleep on it. Wake up to a new day, a new perspective, ready with the energy and the focus needed to get your way. All right, let's move on. All right, so we slept on it, we wake up, maybe we just have a totally different outlook on it anyway. I know I normally do. I just usually say to myself, that's what happened, and now I can address it like with a clear mind. The very first thing that I do is I just simply write. It doesn't matter whether it's like in an email, in Microsoft Word, or like start typing on your cell phone somewhere. Just get the basic facts right. Okay, the basic facts, what you ordered versus what you received. I ordered 50 stainless steel tumblers with sublimation coating. All right, what I received is 50 stainless steel tumblers, brushed exterior with absolutely no sublimation coating. So I just get that little shell of the mistake on paper. That's what happened. That's what I ordered. That's what I received. All right. And if you remember, in the video that I did, you can remember that I actually put in that box message to the seller. I hope you did watch the whole video and you went through the entire buying process with me, because that little message that I put inside the box was, as I said in the video, was just that little extra layer of helping that seller understand exactly what I want, right? And I did it. I put in that box in my order, thank you for sending me stainless steel tumblers with a sublimation coating. Right? And we did that as a little layer of protection in the unlikely event that something like this happened. And here it is. This is me. It happened to me. All right. So I'm going to start the little shell of my dispute. I'm going to keep it very simple. Okay. I'm not going to go off in tangents that use a lot of like verbose and long words. Not that the Chinese can't like translate it, and not that they're not great communication specialists, because they really are when you think about it. But many times there is a language barrier, and you know, you just don't want to go off into complicated sentence structure. Okay, just keep it simple. This is what I ordered. This is what I received. All right, we're just going to get that on paper yet. We're not sending anything yet to the seller. We're just getting the shell of that outline. All right, so in my case, what I received is nearly identical to what I ordered, except there is no sublimation coating on it, right? So here is a tumbler that they sent. Here is a tumbler that could be a sublimation coated tumbler. They really don't look any different, do they? I mean, it's going to be like close-up examination. So I'm going to have to prove to the supplier that what I received is not correct. Not only that, but as a seller of blanks, like Quickspeed, we sell blanks. I know for a fact, okay, and if you have sold probably more than, I don't know, if you've sold more than 50 items, you've dealt with returns. I'm going to guess. Okay, maybe you've been lucky and you've been skirting returns all this time. But eventually, you're going to have the customer who says that everything is wrong, right? So everything is wrong. You sent the wrong product, or you sent a defective product, and they want their money back and they want to keep the product, right? If you have not yet met that buyer, you will, right? You will. I do. We do. That buyer exists. And I can only imagine how many times the suppliers on DH Gate are dealing with these types of buyers, right? Buyers who just want items for free, okay? I'm not saying it's rampant or anything like that. It's just a small percentage of returns. A small percentage of returns are done by people who want the item and they want the money back, okay? So there is no getting around that. I'm going to have every single objection thought out, and I'm going to have my response ready for them. You know, I might not just like throw it out there to begin with, but I am going to have it at the ready. All right. So what are the objections that they're going to have? Obviously, one of the first things they're going to say is, did you sublimate it? Do you know how to sublimate? Okay. And that is a very valid objection that they are going to have. We do get the buyers who want to return things because they don't know how to sublimate. Here's something that I keep in the studio to remind myself of buyers' tendencies. A sublimation blank book pillowcase, a pocket pillow. You put the book inside. I have a Post-it over that little guy because I'm sure that's a copyrighted image, and I don't want copyright issues. But anyway, as you can see, this customer sublimated the book pillow, right? And everything was going great until they did Declan's name. And what did they do? They sublimated Declan, not only upside down, but backwards. Okay, they forgot to mirror the image. All right, so this customer, told Amazon that the product was defective and wanted their money back. It was a package of 6 pillows. Okay, so 6 pillows. They wanted credit for all 6 pillows, and they sent one back. They sent this one back, enjoying the other 5, but they sent this one back as defective, right? Obviously, this pillow is not defective. There's nothing wrong with the pillow, right? But this customer, they don't know exactly how to sublimate, or they make mistakes and they want the seller to pay for their mistakes. So that's what I am up against when I have to dispute on DH Gate that yes, I did in fact get the wrong tumblers. Here is a real sublimation tumbler. This is not a sublimation tumbler. How am I going to tell the difference? How am I going to prove to this seller that I am an actual sublimator? Okay, so I'm up against these people of the world when I do my dispute. So I am going to take the time and just think about the objections that are going to come my way. All right, and there are going to be several of them. Now, one of the first things I did when I woke up that morning after thinking about it, I did go on DH Gate and I made sure that, people weren't complaining about them all the time. And after reading even more recent reviews about this supplier, it's like everybody just had nice things to say, right? So taking the time to go through a solid process to begin with, right, definitely made me feel good about, okay, I picked a good supplier to begin with. The reviews are pouring in and everybody is giving them really good reviews. Nobody is saying they got the wrong tumblers, which is great, right? Because it means they're a great supplier. But it also is kind of like, am I the only one getting the wrong tumblers, right? That puts me in a little bit of a weaker position if they do not have this constant problem of sending the wrong tumblers. So I know this, and I as happy as I am that everybody is getting great tumblers and giving them 5-star ratings, I'm kind of like, oh, well, that doesn't sit too well with me and my attempt to convince them that I got the wrong tumblers, okay? That I'm not just somebody who doesn't know how to sublimate, or I'm not somebody who's just trying to take advantage and get free items. So that's another obstacle, right? I know that they are going to have a lot of power with DH Gate, and like, look at all these great reviews that people are leaving. We do not send the wrong product. All right. So there is that I have to like contend with as well. Now, one of the first things I did notice about the tumblers that they sent that are not for sublimation, it's this one right here. This is a sublimation coated stainless tumbler that I did order off of Etsy, okay? And I can tell immediately it has sublimation coating. How can I tell? Listen, this is my fingernails down the side of the tumbler. Here are the tumblers they sent me, right? Clearly, it has no coating. It is just brushed stainless steel. I can also like leave my fingerprints on it, just like a nice stainless steel refrigerator. It's nearly impossible to get the fingerprints off, whereas this one, they come on, they come off, they fog, it comes off. So that is one way that I can tell and prove that they are not sublimation, is just make sure I get a little clip of video of the sound of this tumbler. Secondly, I am, of course, going to have to waste one and sublimate it. What I made sure that I did is that I sublimated 2 tumblers. I sublimated their tumbler. This is how it came out. And then I sublimated the same exact image on a known sublimation tumbler. And this proves, or helps to prove, that I know how to sublimate, all right? There's nothing that I am doing in my process with how I wrap my tumbler, how I bake my tumbler, okay? Because those are all going to be objection, like, you don't really know how to sublimate a tumbler, right? So I have the 2 tumblers here. This one proves that I know how to sublimate. I also kept the paper. This is a color chart that I do. This is the paper that went around this stainless tumbler, the one that didn't work. And you can see, like, none of the ink came off, right? And if you see up close, you can see little residual, but this stuff just comes right off with my thumb. Like, look at my thumb. It's like dark, right? The ink just comes right off. And this is the paper that was on this tumbler, okay? The tumbler that I could sublimate. So when you are look at the difference. When you are going to prove that you know how to sublimate, and if you received tumblers that were not for sublimation, I think it's a good idea to sublimate the same exact design on theirs, and then sublimate your same exact design on something that you know is a sublimation tumbler, okay? And that way you can prove, listen, I know how to sublimate. Here's the prints. I'm using sublimation ink. And I know how to wrap a tumbler, and I know how to bake a tumbler, and I know what I'm doing. All right. This goes a very long way in helping to prove my case. So let's just talk a little bit here about my initial contact. I have not yet done anything in the dispute process on DH Gate. This is simply a message to the seller. I did not click open dispute. And what I'm doing here is just, first of all, start out with something that you're happy with. I was actually happy. That's not a lie. I was happy that the tumblers came much earlier than expected, but they are not sublimation tumblers. I already am addressing here the very first objection that I know that they're going to have. They're going to ask me if I sublimated them, right? And so I took pictures. I told them I sublimated it, and it did not come out. And down here, this is just very important. I want you to see that what I do is I put the initial response. I want a joint resolution. I want to work with them, and I want to know what they propose. All right. I want to know what they propose. And there's a very good reason for that. I think it's very important to put everything in their lap and ask them to give you a solution. What do you propose, friend? Right? Because that right there is going to tell you whether or not you guys proceed in business together. You're still looking for a supplier, right? Like, this cannot be the end of your journey, right? This one mistake is not the end of your business attempts to get cheaper product. This is not it. Like, I mean, if this is something that would like destroy your business or destroy your confidence, I don't know. I mean, business actually gets much worse than this. This is like a very easy problem. But our business is so much easier if we can establish relationships with suppliers 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times, 15 times, 20 times. Believe me, these suppliers will do things for you. They will get orders out for you when other people can't, if you build the relationship, okay? They will do things for you that they will not do for other people if you build a good, solid relationship. So don't take that lightly, all right? If you really intend to start importing your own stash of blanks, and I mean, and I'm telling you this, and I sell blanks. I sell blanks at retail price, you know, and I'm giving you like some of the secret sauce here. You can get these blanks cheap. You can put these profits in your pockets, and you can make more money for doing the same exact work. All right. But it starts with relationships and building those relationships across the sea with people in China. That is why it is so important to ask, what is your resolution? Because in that statement, in their response, you are going to be able to tell whether or not they are worth working with again. All right. If they just blow you off, you know, like, I'm never ordering from them again. I don't want to do business with people who deflect. If you do business with people who deflect, usually very stressful. Okay. So I like to do business with people who own mistakes, right? So that is why I phrased it like that. What do you propose? I didn't come out swinging for what I want. That doesn't mean that I'm not now starting to form what would make me happy. All right, now let's talk about that. I put that letter out there. It's done. It is not the official dispute process yet. It is simply a message inside of DH Gate, message to the seller. Even if you were to go to the dispute process in DH Gate right now, the very first line that you are going to see is you need to at least try to work with your seller first. And that's just like good business practice, right? You don't call in an arbitrator before both parties have concluded they can't work it out, right? DH Gate's going to be an arbitrator in this dispute, but the very first thing they want to do is they want to know, like, well, how did you handle it? What did you ask for? What did you do? How did it all go? And then they can help make a decision based on communication you have already had. So this is step one. Send a very nice professional message to the seller and see where they stand. Now that I've got that out there, I'm going to take some time and really think about what it is that I want. And I'm not going to be unreasonable. That is not going to be a benefit. So let's talk a little bit about that. I'm not going to send back tumblers. I already know I am not going to send back tumblers. I know it's cost prohibitive and that is not going to get me anywhere. What I would like is I would like some type of compensation for the mishap. Okay. They're good tumblers. Don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with these tumblers. They're beautiful. In my own mind, I kind of start to work out the profit. I start to work out like their profit on their end. And I do consider the seller in this. Maybe it's because I'm a seller. I'm not trying to like steal these tumblers, right? I mean, I have the product. I'm not trying to steal them and get them for free. But I also did not need them. I do not need these tumblers. This is how craft rooms explode, right? We hang on to stuff we don't need. But certainly I can put vinyl on here. All right. No doubt about that. And even if you didn't do vinyl, you could give these away for a Christmas gift. You know, there is value in this item. So I'm not trying to just like run away with the item. So I come up with like, what do I know as a supplier about what it costs them to get this to me? Well, I know that like just importing, I know that it probably costs $50 to get it to my door, just the shipping alone. Right? And I also know after importing tumblers for many years and thousands of tumblers, like when the skinnies got really hot, they are not making much profit and they have a small profit and they are shipping it to my door for free. So, but at the same time, I don't want these. This is not what I ordered and I want to defend myself a little bit. So what am I going to be happy with? So I wrote down a number that I would be happy with if I got the a credit. I don't want a store credit. I don't want to be obligated to buy from your store again with some massive credit. But maybe you do. Like, I'm not trying to say which way to go with your resolution. For me, I wanted hard money back on my credit card. That's what I wanted. Not the full amount. I wanted, like, keep the tumblers, give me a credit for this mistake, and let's continue to do business. Maybe. Can this happen? So I came up with a number, and I recommend that you have that number in mind before they get back to you. Okay, take the time to understand what it is that you want. And the way I approach it is the second I get exactly what I wanted, right? If they can hit exactly what I want, I take the offer. I don't think twice. I don't try to counter with, oh, well, they like met this. Maybe I can get $10 more or something. There's just so much more of a benefit to coming to terms quickly with someone, right? It means that you start to build just a little bit of rapport and a little bit of trust and a little bit of goodwill in a relationship that didn't start off so well. Okay, let's move on to see what the seller responded. All right, so I sent that letter, and the next day I did get a message, and she asked, "Hello, I am Kiki. You tried one of them. Please show a picture or video after you try." And I had uploaded pictures to the DH Gate platform, but quite frankly, they didn't come out that great. Like, the picture does not, even on the webcam here on this video, it looks much more like I sublimated it. Like, in the pictures that I uploaded, it really does look like I don't know what I'm doing. So I did go ahead and make a short video. Now, you guys, you can make a video with your cell phone really quick. Like, you know, here is the one that I sublimated. Here is a cup that proves it's the same exact pattern. I'm going to play for you the video that I sent.
They're very beautiful, but they don't have the sublimation coating. Normally, you can see the coating. Sometimes there's bubbles. Sometimes there's little lint or dust, and you can see that there's a coating on here. But these are just brushed stainless steel. Listen, no coating was put on here for sublimation. And I did sublimate one, and this is how it turned out. Right, this is the stainless one. I did make sure that they do not sublimate, but this is the paper that went around it. This is my client's color codes, all of my client's logos I make sure that I understand how they look on a tumbler. So I did do that, and it does not sublimate. There's no coating. And just to show you I know how to sublimate, here is my client color code on a white tumbler. Okay, so I do know how to sublimate. I am a professional sublimator, and all these 50 tumblers that I ordered, I even put in the box. Remember, I said, thank you for sending silver with sublimation coating, just to be extra sure. And whoever packed that box, they did not send me sublimation coated tumblers. They are all just regular brushed stainless. No ink will stay. Sorry that this happened, but it's not right. Sorry, friend.
All right, so that is the video that I sent, and right on the heels of that, here's the message that I received. Sorry, I am sorry about that. Here are 2 solutions for you. Number 1, could you keep those stainless steel tumblers and I will give you $100. Number 2, I will send you 10 pieces of sublimation silver ones. It'll cost us about $120, and you will keep those stainless steel cups as well. And then 3, what better way can you provide? Please let me know. So I could not ask for anything more than that. In the very first bullet point where she says that I'm sorry about that, here are 2 solutions. Could you keep those stainless steel tumblers and I will give you $100? That met my expectation of the deal that I was thinking of. Like, what would I be happy with? Keeping 50 stainless steel tumblers and paying only $2.50, right? So that's $2.50 for stainless steel insulated tumblers. So that already met my expectation. I am not going to ask for anything more. I did ask for clarification on number 2. She was going to send 10 more sublimation and it would cost them about $120. And she said, yes, I will send you 10 pieces by FedEx. Then you can test them. If there's no problems and you still give a chance to our company, I will give you a big discount for your next order. I do know that actually that is about what it would cost, because I get FedEx stuff from China all the time, and a box of 10 like that is definitely going to cost about $120 to my door. I just know this. I almost toyed with that, but I just prefer the money back. Like, money back is clean. I don't know, maybe that was the better deal. Maybe I would have maybe I should have done that, but I didn't. I did the $100 credit. She wants to keep the relationship. I am interested in keeping the relationship, and I will give them another try. Let's, however, get through the entire dispute process before I make a final decision on this vendor. Now that I have in writing the things that she will agree to, I accept. I accept number 1. I accept it in writing, and I say I will take option number 1. The $100 refund will help me buy the right tumblers. Thank you. So now it is time to submit the actual dispute inside of DH Gate. I have our agreement in writing, and I just have to go through the motions of getting the refund on DH Gate. Right? I'm not asking them their opinion. I'm not asking them to side with me. I'm not asking them to make decisions. I am telling them what the seller and I agreed to, and they just need to push buttons. All right. So let me actually show you what I uploaded to DH Gate. It came to the actual dispute for DH Gate. In that section, all I did was summarize what happened inside of a Word document. I ordered these, I received these. Here is my video link, and I put the resolution that the buyer and seller already communicated together, and this is the resolution. And then I just took snapshots of the chat that we had back and forth about the resolution so that DH Gate could see. But it does say that I will, the most important one here, okay, dear, please open a case. And I will refund you $100. Okay, so that it is all right there for DH Gate to see that this is already an agreement reached. They really don't have to step in and do anything about this. They just need to put the dispute through the process. Here's the order number. A refund agreement has been reached, $100. I'm not returning the item, and no need to replace the items. Now, one thing that I do want to bring to your attention is that DH Gate does have the right to take back any coupon code money that you might have had. So let me come back out to the screen and talk about that. In my case, I did have a $20 coupon code that I used, and I have noticed that sometimes they take that coupon away, and they will give it back to you, like they will put it in your account to use as a credit, and sometimes they don't bother. I got an $80 credit on my credit card and a DH Gate credit in my account of $20. Which, you know, I'm not really happy about. Like, to me, that is like, I don't know, that's like a petty move. I was ready and willing and able to spend $200 for that, you know, and I did not get the right product. The seller credited me like it didn't come out of DH Gate's pocket, but they took the coupon as a credit. So, whatever, you're not going to win. This is not Amazon. We all know. We've been over this. You know, it's like you're not going to just get everything, like different terms, interesting way of doing business. And at the end of the day, I still got what I wanted. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. Obviously, I would have loved nothing more than to have opened those tumblers and showed you the project that I was going to do, but they were not sublimation tumblers. In retrospect, and having all this time to think about it, I am actually glad this happened to me, because this is a channel about business and education. There is nothing perfect in the supply chain. Every once in a while, something goes wrong, and it's like, what happens when something goes wrong? And I have worked with suppliers that everything has gone right for 4, 5, 6 shipments, and then something goes wrong, and they don't stand behind like what happened. And that is like really discouraging and really annoying. And when that happens, I know like, this is not good. Like, here we have our first problem, and you know, you're gonna like throw up the defenses. Like, did not happen in this case. I am very happy with this supplier. I couldn't have asked for anything more. They gave me what I wanted. I took it. It was easy. It was fast. And I do wonder if I should have taken the second offer to get the 10 FedEx to me and then get a huge discount on the next order, because I really do still need those Sublimation stainless tumblers. Now, going into the next order that I place with this, I'm going to send a personal message on her chat number. I'm going to say, hey, I am placing another order with you. I would really appreciate it if you monitored the packing for me, and that if you personally made sure that what goes into the box is really Sublimation blank tumblers. Please, you know, I can't really have another delay like this. And if there's any samples that you think I should be aware of, feel free to include them in the box. You never know what you're going to get here. But she's going to own it. I know it. Like, I can tell you from experience, she's going to own that process. She's going to say, here's this order that, you know, we messed up last time. They're giving me another chance, and they could be a big customer, right? We handled it reasonably. I was nice to her. I was kind to her. I complimented the early arrival time. I told her the tumblers were beautiful, right? We have a good relationship. I said right in the text, it's okay. Mistakes happen. Let's just move on. Let's work it out. So as a supplier, I'm like an ideal buyer too, right? I'm not just asking for the moon and giving nothing in return, But I am going to give that supplier another chance. And that's because they handled it so professionally and so well, and that is a company that I am willing to try again. And at the end of the day, even though I got the wrong tumblers, I may have made a really good business connection. All right, that's going to do it for this. I hope that you found this information useful and beneficial. If you got any value out of this whatsoever, please do give this a thumbs up. Turn that like button blue for us. Subscribe to the channel by clicking that Q right there, and you will get notified the next time we upload our video. Until next time, everyone, happy sublimating, good luck in business, and we will see you next time.